Hello. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Hara. How are you?
Good. Welcome to Ancient Voice Rising.
Yes, thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, I'm
What a
honored to have you.
what a powerful name, and it's just at the divine timing for me being called to put my voice out there for the ancient ones. So,
Oh, yes, absolutely. Woo, I'll tell you, this energy has been, whoa.
oh yeah, it sure has. Woohoo!
Oh my goodness, a lot of outside walking, movement, and
Oh
uh,
yeah.
it's
I've done a lot of ceremonies in the last couple of weeks to help me in letting go, and we can talk about that as well too. So whenever you're ready, so to help me
yeah.
get through. Yeah. For
The
sure.
floor is yours. So this is how I work. I'm here. I hold space for you to share your story. And
Okay.
we are recording live, by the way.
Okay.
So just wherever you feel comfortable starting. And then usually what I do is I'll kind of go, hang on a second,
Okay.
because I don't have formal interview questions because I don't resonate with that. I kind of go through the conversation, just raw, authentic conversation.
That's what I was being called to do too when I put myself out there because more people need to see that less perfection and just being our true, authentic selves. Yeah, in the moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm trying
I
to get
would I
camera.
would like to share my story. I do have a power story that I wrote a couple months ago that just gives it's a 5 minute. It just gives a little detail on me and kind of introduce everyone to my journey a little bit.
Absolutely.
I wrote it with the Power Story Theater group of women.
Hmm.
I had done a couple of smaller public speakings with them and learned about them doing that writing program. And I said to myself, well, my friend sent it to me, and I said if I looked to see if there was a like a grant or something to get in the program because at the time I wasn't working. So I'm like, well, if I can get that, it's meant for me. So
Right.
I applied for it. So sure enough, I got the spot.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
let me welcome our community
sure.
and make sure that you subscribe, like, and share and hit the notification bell. And if you do not know me by now, my name is Hera and I am the owner of Ancient Voice Rising. So I welcome Stephanie, and you've got the floor.
Thank you, community, for being here to listen in and giving me the platform, you, Hara, to be able to speak and speak truth and tell my story and to, have an impact and help others that are going through certain things in life too. So that's
Absolutely.
why I would like to share the story with the
Share
community.
away. Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, as a 10-year-old child, I always dreamed of being my own superhero to save the world. My favorite place to dream was our horse stables. I loved riding horses, our magical horses. Ginger, who was white with orange spots. She was very easy and laid back. And
Mhm.
then we had Big Man, who was white with black freckles, a beautiful Appaloosa. He was much more adventurous and loved running and jumping the ditches, much like myself. After my rides, I would change into my frilly little dresses and twirl in the field and look up to the sky with my big green eyes and wonder what I would be when I grew up.
Oh,
I got married at 16 and met my husband, the love of my life. We got pregnant at 17 and married at 18. I went from my parents' home to his grandparents' home. Life was overwhelming as a young mom, and I lost myself in my dreams of being my own superhero. We were married for 30 beautiful years, and at 48, I had one heck of a spiritual awakening.
oh,
Things changed and we grew apart. I was guided to proof of his infidelity, and I decided to separate and choose myself first. I lost everything: my partner, my best friend, my home, my pups both passed away. The only life I knew since I was 16.
oh.
Now, fast forward to now. Here I stand before you with these ripped and tattered wings
There you go.
that I danced through all the emotional pain with going through my divorce. So now on the other side of healing, I've learned to be resilient, courageous, strong, and independent, love and put myself first for the first time in my life. With the help of a shaman friend, we did a soul retrieval class. We did breath work, movement, tapping, jumping, making sounds, healing our inner child, forgiving and letting go. setting our parents free. It was powerful. That brought through my grandmother in spirit to help me break and guide me to the generational trauma on my mother's side. We transformed our lineage together, and her spirit showed up many of times in powerful moments in my life. Like when I was in Mount Shasta last year,
Mhm.
on a Friday, clear blue day. Um, the water was so crystal clear, you could see the pebbles in the water, and it was just, you could just hear a pin drop. And as we were leaving the water, we saw a group setting up for a meditation, and we um, asked if we could join the group or, get our own little spots. And I sat underneath a tree, and it was about letting go. And the tears just really started flowing. I could feel the energy and the releasing of letting go of some things at that moment. Afterwards, I went to thank the lady for allowing us into the space, and she grabbed my hand and she took us to the water. They were doing a water ceremony. And no sooner than they closed the circle, my grandmother's face shot in like a rocket. It was powerful. I knew that we had connected. She was so powerful it pushed me back, and I put my head on my friend Mandy's shoulder, and I said, "Oh my God, I just saw my grandmother's face," and I started to cry.
Beautiful.
And Mindy felt her presence as well, like when we were in Sedona on another trip. Mindy had a breakthrough on a reading with me and said my spirit team, she said they were always cheering me on. And I told her I could feel them. I could be in a field dancing and twirling, and I could always feel them with me, surrounding me, never feeling alone.
No.
This is how the spirit realm works with us in the earthly realm, guiding us with signs and synchronicities to follow our path. Doing this inner work was worth everything that I ever went through for myself, my mother, my ancestors, and my daughter, who recently left a toxic relationship, setting herself free and breaking the generational chains. I
Mm.
remember talking with her on the phone when I found out she left her relationship of 11 years. The pain in her voice was much like an echo of my own pain. She said how hard it is to lose everything, your person, your best friend, the one you do everything with, your car, your home. She lost her dog Vixen right before the breakup. I remember telling her, I know how soul crushing it feels to lose everything you've ever known. Boy, did I know that pain.
Mm. I know that pain very well.
hmm Now coming back to my own superhero, the fairy
Mhm.
wise mermaid, which is sharing wisdom that I've gained. She's my healed inner child. She'll be shining her light for others to find very soon. She's coming out to play, sharing her wisdom without fear, turning her pain into purpose, and dreams do come true. Believe in yourself, and the magic will happen.
Miracles are real.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. Thank you for letting me share.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have always wanted to go to Mount Shasta. I have heard that it is an absolutely magical, beautiful, amazing place, and some super genius consciousness can come online there.
Absolutely. We were in a zone the whole time. It was like we were buzzing the whole time, but we were just taking the downloads because there was so much coming in to even, retain it at the time, but we're just getting the buzz of it. And actually I was gifted with the Lemurian water ceremony. Um,
That's
after that, after we did the circle, there was another
Mhm.
lady who was there, and I work with a crystal skull. And I showed it to her. She says, "My goodness, she's powerful. She needs a water ceremony." So she took us over to the water and she sang, she did light language. It
Oh
was just,
wow, yeah.
yeah, I have a video of that. It was beautiful, and it just helped me connect, and getting the messages and stuff like that. So I'm supposed to do some traveling with the crystal skull and sacred land and do blessings and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I've done some of that myself. I don't know. What was the show? Andy Griffith, Mayberry. Do you remember that
Oh,
show?
the
Um,
Andy Griffith show,
the
or
Andy Griffith show, yeah. So there's a mountain called it's called Pilot Mountain.
oh,
And it's a divine angelic mountain, and it connects out through like Washington D.C. and all throughout the southeast on the um all the way back from the mountains to the coast.
mhm.
Um, from that mountain to the coast, and then straight up the seaboard, and then back down again.
Wow.
I think.
Where's that located at?
in Pilot, North Carolina.
Oh, I'm always drawn to North Carolina too. There's some special stuff there too.
Yeah, so I went up there and did I needed to open it and release some pressure that was there. And when we got back down the mountain, it was like 8 degrees outside. When we got back down the mountain, all of a sudden, like when we went on the back porch and it was just dark,
Hmm.
all of a sudden you saw like these beams of light, like rainbow light, just shooting like up out of the mountain. And then it just went solid white. And then it just went black again.
Wowie, that's magical. Yeah.
So we were talking about Mount Shasta and how, how magical and everything it is, my point is there's so many other points on this earth, like Mount Shasta, like Mount Pilot, because it's also a pyramid as well.
Yeah.
And it's so important that we go and lend our energy there and do what we can to the best of our abilities to assist. And that was a catalyst for me and that started my trip that I'm on now a year later after I did that.
It's funny that you say that. I feel like that's a confirmation for me because that's what I've been being called to do is go to some of those certain points and stuff like that, taking the
Yeah.
leap of faith and going, and that there will be things that will open up through that travel experience
Yeah.
as well. I
I don't
feel
talk a lot about going and doing a lot of node clearings or ley lines, or I do a lot of grid work and um, song lines and outer galaxy toning. I don't talk a lot about that, but I'm getting there. I'm working through some fears of letting that come through, that like opening that part of that channel
yeah,
to come through. So I've really just kind of stepped back and become the listener, the
yeah. I'm
observer.
with you on that. I've gone through a lot of that too, and that was a little bit of my nerves today too. Is
Do you feel like you get stuck there at all? That do you feel like you get maybe stuck in that observer witness
yeah,
stage sometimes?
I have. Yep, I have been stuck there and been encouraged, much like you, to step up into leadership and putting my
Mm,
voice out there. So I think that there's messages that are going to come through us that need to be said and shared.
yeah.
And I'm much like you, my closer people I talk to more about this stuff, in community and the spiritual community and stuff like that. But a lot of my friends and family know that I'm connected to the spiritual realm and stuff like that because I speak my truth about what I know that I felt and what I've
Mhm.
experienced.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I hadn't tuned into that intuition and
Mhm.
then followed the signs and synchronicities that the spirit realm provides for us. That it's all around us, but not everybody is open and aware of those. They just think it's coincidences, and I tell them, those are little breadcrumbs to follow your path.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
don't,
what's led me to community, led me to all these trips, everything that has happened for me. Thank goodness, and such a transformation of my life when everything, came crashing down. I was able to, get in with a great family. I'm a caregiver of 5 years, and they're a magical, I believe, star family too. So, yeah, it's definitely been the journey, and I was placed, where I needed to be at the time when things had happened. So,
oh, good deal. Yeah. I always say there's no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason.
absolutely.
Even when you think you're not in flow, you are in flow. You are exactly where you're supposed to be.
I've had to work on that recently too because I lost a bit of my flow with closing some chapters and things like that and letting go. So it's kind of the universe's way to test you per se. You're going strong and everything's flowing, and all of a sudden, boom! You've got another layer that's
Like a brick walls in front of you.
coming out,
Get
yeah,
the
to coming out to
sledgehammer
heal.
and you gotta beat the crap out of that thing. It's like seriously, another one. Man, I just got through that
Exactly.
one
When you
back
think,
there. It's like it's
right,
like
when you think that you've healed it and there's another layer to it, another one to peel over. But this last one was very challenging because I usually put myself as the observer or the witness when I start feeling my old version coming back in and all those old stories. This time was really hard for me to use those tools. I really had to dig deep for the mind running stuff again. But in those
yeah.
ceremonies that I recently did, I really feel like it helped me a lot. I did a 100 women drumming in Orlando, Florida.
Oh my gosh.
That was such a release too. Yeah, my old version, in the Shavasana came through and she walked out the door, closed the door, said, "We're done. You're good to go. You're good on your own. I'm leaving you now." And then my inner child, they played a song uh, about shining your light, I think it was. And then my inner child opened up the door with this bright light behind her and said, "Thank you." And we did it all with a smile.
Oh my gosh, how amazing.
Beautiful.
So do you so what exactly do you offer to others? Do you create like drumming circles or circles of power or for people to come to?
Not yet, but I'm on the verge of that. I've been asked to co-host with some recently, so that all that's coming into alignment and stepping up to do those
Okay.
things. Yeah, they're coming in, but I mean, I do when I go to the drum circles, I can, I'll step out and dance. I'll play the instruments or I'll sing. And that's really helped me open up my voice. I'm in a group right now. One of my friends put us in a group and we just organically like pick up an instrument. We don't even have to know how to play. It's just the channeling through and tapping into our remembrance,
Yeah,
you
you're not
know?
seeing what you're putting out there. You're just letting it come through.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's been a beautiful thing to have that organic experience to channel in the voice or channel in the instrument and just, not being afraid of what others are going to think because we're just in
Yeah.
this little group, about 5 or 6 of us, and just coming in, whatever you feel like picking up and whatever you tap into. So we've tapped into some ancestral Native American kind of vibe. It just depends on who's in the group because, energy, it changes if there's someone else that comes in. But yeah, and we've done some YouTube lives and do sound healing. We're doing sound healing for people. So it's
Oh,
been
that's
beautiful.
amazing. It is. I do believe that, music, or we call it frequency as well, is some very masterful healing.
Absolutely. I believe in that too, big time with being on my journey of doing mostly mind, body, and soul stuff to alchemize a 30-year relationship and break generational trauma. Um, I've done most of it with mind, body, and soul work. I've not done regular traditional counseling or any of that stuff. I tapped in within myself. I started with meditation, this little simple proteogram that showed up on Facebook that was a lotus flower with 4 portals. And that started my journey with meditation that took me all the way down where I'm at now. It just
Yeah.
started with that little simple point of paying attention to that. And I knew something connected with it. And yeah, for sure. I think we're like the tuning fork. We're, like the instrument and then the music like fine tunes us into the frequency too.
Yeah, it takes all the cells of our body and then all our layers, and it puts us in our true vibration
Mhm.
where we can that's where we get that forward momentum, and that flow is when every cell in our being and starts to flow with the energy fields that radiate outside of our bodies, and we're connecting to our higher self, and our soul is seated, and then we've got your oversoul and the oversoul and the oversoul and source and cosmic hearts. And when we get all that stuff in alignment, it's like those brick walls there for a couple of years started to seem to just like, and now it's like I'm like, seriously?
Yep, they do, and they come back to test
They're
you.
like now. And I'm like, no. And like I made a video yesterday. I was like, they told me pick one thing and focus on it.
Mm,
And so this time I was like, okay, well, I've been in the cosmos for a long, long, long time, doing cosmic energy and um, connecting nodes and grids for years. So, all right, I'll do humanity. I'll come
mhm.
into and just focus in on humanity. And I'm starting to notice that the animal kingdom is coming in and the cosmic energy is just kind of like, okay, we're watching.
Yeah,
We got you. Don't worry about it. It's like you have a hand on your back, kind of.
right.
It's like you've got a hand on your back and you're like, if you tip backwards, we'll tip you a little forward. You got this, but
Yeah.
keep
I
it
feel
on the
I
ground.
feel I was gonna say I feel that too, feeling like my role is for humanity to connecting people and being that bridge
Mm,
between like the 3D and the 5D. Um and my how I do that is I just, when I'm out and about, usually people are guided to me, I feel like we're lighthouses, and then when people
mm.
are in need,
Beacon.
they step into your aura. And then
That happens a lot
also,
in the grocery store. But
huh?
I said that always happens a lot in the grocery store. I'm
Yeah.
like, really? I just want to get some chocolate ice cream right now.
Ew, I've been on the beach by myself. I kid you not, and I'll be that one person that comes up that I'll have something synchronistic come show up for that, and I was like, okay, all
Yeah.
right, but yeah, I just speak my truth. Like I said, everybody's curious about their past loved ones and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like for me, that's my gift to be able to go into talking about my experiences with that. And then people, it gives them permission and they open up and they start talking about their experiences. Because normally it's kind of taboo regularly to talk about that, and I'll just, in conversation mention or bring up certain things. And so that gets me to connect, and then I can go into some of the modalities and like my journey and all the things that I've done to, and always planting seeds. They might not get it right at that moment, but
Yes.
later on down the line, they might
Mm,
say, "Oh my gosh, I remember she told me this," have that aha moment. So I
yeah.
love planting those seeds for people, to, leave them better than I found them.
Yep. To the best of our abilities.
Yes.
Um, yes, I mainly a lot of my channeling has been about bridging the gap of unification within the unconditional love, that middle column, and bringing unity within our beingness with that understanding of the law of one, um, that we are all one, but yet we don't lose our individualization within the process. And when we finally start to get that, you know it seems to kind of all kind of click into place, and then there's more to add to it. It's
Yeah.
like you just keep like unfolding. It's just an ever going, like, because we are infinite beings, eternal beings, and it just seems to keep unfolding. um so for someone out there that is going through, I wanted to mention something very synchronistic. My Right before me and my husband separated, last March, the year before, um, my dog passed. One hit her. I had two dogs, and they were brother and sister from the same litter. First one born, second one born, or last one born. And the first one born, Bronxy, he passed. And then 11 months later, right before we left to come to Florida, before we separated, I lit a peace candle
Mhm.
because of everything that was going on and packing and stuff. And she died that day.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that it was when I read your story, I
Mhm.
thought, wow, that is just, it's there's just no words for it. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
So,
and what you said, being separated in March, that's the same for me too. Must
well,
be a lot of synchronicities.
well, my husband's coming to visit next month. So, before that final decision is made, we're
Yeah,
going to look at
been
this
there,
with a
done that
different
too.
perspective.
Absolutely. It's worth a
Yeah.
shot to see if there can be a different energy or perspective um, within the two of you after being, together for so long. We kind of did the same thing too. So
Yeah.
I
So,
feel you.
someone's in that position, they're finding themselves, because what I'm kind of seeing out in the world and on social media and everything, people are starting to disown their family members. Like it's like they're detaching and disconnecting from like their family and from their friends. And people are getting divorced right and left. And just not even it's 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 becoming like going to the bathroom.
Yeah, more commonplace than not.
It's commonplace. I was like trying to find the words, like what is do every day, like more than once, right?
Yeah.
You go to the bathroom, right? So it's becoming more and more like that, from what I've been seeing and just observing out there. Um, Somebody watching this, how could you walk them through like maybe something very simple to get them to find a little bit of joy in this part of their experience and to maybe shift that perspective a little bit to include that situation into that deep heart energy. Did I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
make sense on
I get what you're saying.
that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes. Well, I
Okay.
experienced that within my travel with going back home to stay with my parents. So it was like I I'm only sometimes with them at short stints and stuff like that, but being in a longer stint with them in like a month, then some of the childhood stuff started coming up. So that was
Yeah.
something that triggered like the closing of a chapter and forgiveness and stuff like that, which I did have with my dad. In the beginning, some things were said and, helped me move through some of those things too. But for me personally, I work on not taking it personal, other people's behavior. You can set intentions around yourself too if you know
So
you're
you don't
going in.
internalize it.
Right, right. Because it's something to,
How do you not internalize it? No,
well,
I'm
yeah,
being,
yeah, yeah.
being
It's a
serious.
protective for myself, for my energy,
Right.
um, to protect myself from absorbing that. And it takes energetic cleansing and a whole slew of things, to get through that. But you can set intentions. Sometimes I've set intentions, putting the white light around me if I know that I'm going into something that's going to be a little bit tricky with emotions and feelings. If you know something about that person, you know, you can set that intention before you even walk in the room, to protect your own energy. But
Hmm.
I've discovered I don't want to give my power away to just anybody.
Yeah.
So I want to keep that within me. I need that space to flow in my own life. And I come with unconditional love. I accept people where they're at, and understanding. I've always had that gift as a kid, people always came to me for advice and different things like that. Um, so I'm able to just honor, where they're at on their journey and understand that they have unhealed wounds. And if we could just look at them as those inner children, that have been wounded, and walking around, they're not even aware of it. They're just projecting,
Yeah.
onto you what the emotions are. And I
Mhm.
experienced some of that, like I said, on my travels with my parents, and I would just go into nature or I would separate myself for a little bit and then come back to neutrality when I came back with my own emotions, when I've dealt with that, and then I can come back into the situation too. So
Sorry,
it
I've
takes a
got
little bit
somebody
of,
tugging on my right side.
what's that?
I've got somebody tugging on my right side. My arm is literally like going like this.
Oh,
Like, going, "What?"
They want to say something,
They
huh?
have something to say, and I'm like, "What do you have to say?" So,
Yeah,
I
it's not easy. It's not easy when we get in those situations, but if we could just learn that it's other people's behavior, it's nothing really to do with us that for us to take personally. It's their internal battle
yeah,
that they're going through, and they don't mean to do it, but it's just something they're unaware of. A lot of people are not self-aware of their own behavior, and we're not taught about that, and we're not taught about how our energy works and how it affects other people and the entanglements that we get into. I think that that's what we're seeing is a lot of entanglements, not just romantic relationships, but with family members and things like that, and this is the time that we really need to be strong and come together in that oneness. We're so much more powerful together. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without having community and having that connection, those connections. And we're messengers for each other. If we give each other that time when we see each other, out, like you said, at the grocery stores and stuff, sometimes you get those messages from people. I just got a blessing from a lady the other day out of the blue, and she asked me what made me groom myself a certain way. And I said, well, it makes people smile. I had my little flower crown on.
uh-huh,
And I said, it makes other people smile. And she said, well, what about you? And I was like, yes, I said, it does make me happy too, and she said, well, I see it takes courage and self-love to be authentically yourself and be able to walk out the door just as you are, as who you are meant to be, and I was like, oh, it made me tear up. She said other things too. And then she gave me some oil and did a little blessing and stuff like that. That was a message right after doing a ceremony thing, a fire ceremony of letting go. It was the next day. So it was like telling me my timeline changing too. And
mhm.
her giving me that message.
So acknowledging you and your
Yeah. And that's what people need to realize is you get those messages through other people
mhm.
too. If they can't tap in onto your shoulder and get through to you, they will go through other people to get those messages through. Those are part of the breadcrumbs too. That's why it's extremely important to be connected, to community or your family or whomever, and all of us come through as one and be together.
I really like my right arm, like my muscles are jerking.
Oh,
Like
wow.
someone's like, so I don't know, maybe your grandmother wants to come through.
I've had a feeling she might. She's pretty powerful. I got a picture of her. I can't carry her with me,
Did she
so.
have anything to do with the right? Did she have any problems with her right wrist?
Not that I was aware
Because
of.
I've had an unusual pain in my right wrist all day today, but
Oh, I'll have to ask some family about that because I
I
don't remember. But she's very strong. She's come through at marketplaces that I've been to, a crystal shop that I've been in, not telling anybody about her or anything like that. And I started journaling. This is how I figured out, some things with energies when they come in from the spiritual realm. I've been
so let's talk about that then. Let's talk
okay.
about your journaling, and I'm going to ask whoever this is, if you're for Stephanie, then I'm going to have you come to her and go through her. I am merely holding space this evening, so thank you. You can stop yanking on me.
Yes, be respectful.
Yes, please
We have to
respect.
give boundaries there too,
Yes.
as I've learned too in this journey,
Mm,
for sure.
yes, very much so. So yeah, talk about how you started journaling and how that kind of helped open up that channel for you.
Yeah, I don't remember how it started with me journaling, but I started catching on to angel numbers, songs, some things I was thinking about at the time. Not all this together, but as I was going along in my journaling, I would look up angel numbers, find out what they meant, and then I started, you know, really connecting the breadcrumbs
Mm,
by, okay, I got this angel number. What was I thinking about at the time? And what that meant. So it was starting to put the messages together more clearly for me. And then I would know when the energies were coming in certain songs. I could feel my grandmother's presence. Or I lost my best friend in 2016. I could feel his presence at certain things in a certain spiritual number. And I took care of an elderly man named Warren, and I could feel his presence at certain times. And I know there's ancestors and angels and different things like that come through as well. But yeah, just through the journaling, and figuring those things out. I just recently helped a friend of mine too, being awakened on the journey. Actually, a twin flame person that's been in my life, and he's finally awakened. And I just gave him that one little key factor of like, what are you thinking about at the time?
Okay, so hold on a second. For anybody that does not know about twin flames, um, could you explain that, what that is and how that works, to in your perspective?
Yeah, we have had very parallel lives. We have felt past lives together, so we're in the same cosmic family and energetic line. So we have telepathy and different things. So whatever happens in my life has happened in his, and vice versa. And we've been talking to each other for the last 2.5 years. Um, and finally, it took a lot to get him to his awakening, but he's putting it all together, and he's like turbocharged now on his spiritual journey because he had gifts since he was a kid, but he's put them away and because he didn't know how to use them. And so now he's coming into that, and just very connected, very past lives. We feel that. We talk about very deep stuff. We can talk for hours. So that's what connects us. He always said that from the get-go. It was a twin flame um,
So
type
how
thing.
So, what would be some of the characteristics of someone watching this never heard of twin flames before? What are some of the telltale signs for someone to, um, you know, kind of watch out for? Not in a like, oh my, not a scary way, but like, what
Yeah,
would
I can
some
only,
of
but
the
yeah,
signs?
I can speak personally from my personal experiences. We had a lot of signs and synchronicities right off the bat when we met each other. Birthday signs, um, from a person that was in my life that had passed away, and he lived in the town with the name of the person that passed away. These were like the three first signs when we first started talking to each other. And I had signs before that from a friend who was a card reader who gave me a message. I was going to Cherokee, North Carolina. I was
Oh,
being
wow.
pulled very strongly to go there 2.5 years ago, and it was a solo trip just
Okay.
to deal with myself and go inside, no intentions of meeting anyone or anything like that. And then I met or my when I got up there, there was a little lake house farm place up there, and I went into the store, and as I came out, my friend had messaged me. She goes, "You got something powerful coming your way." She's like, "Don't look down, make sure that you're looking up and you pay attention." As I came out of there, I got signs with my grandmother's name. This lady was talking to another lady, and she said her name was Julie, and that was my grandmother's name. So that was a confirmation. And then when I left the store, my friend's last name showed up on a truck, which is not a common last name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I met him at Hara's casino that night on that Friday night. And then
Oh,
all the synchronicities with the birthday, the sign, the name, the town, all of that. So we knew that there was
so it was just a lineup after a lineup after a lineup that was just like
no
there just wasn't any questions
right,
about it.
right. He had a lot of layers on him at the time that he was going through. Now that he's being able to clear it out, he's seeing things a lot more clearer. And
Hmm.
it's been an honor for me to watch his transformation, and be a part of that. Even through, some challenging things that we had in the relationship and stuff like that. Recently, we've just come back together to talk as friends and spiritual mentor and all of that stuff. So yeah, we have that pulling with each other,
Right.
you know. Um, and we're not sure if it's romantic or if it's collective that we're supposed to do something. We know that we have a soul contract, and he kind of broke the first one the first time with not being awakened. But now that he's on the journey and he's more awakened, we're working together to figure out what that is that we're supposed to do for the collective. And we kind of wanted to start a podcast talking about that. Even after a relationship, sometimes there are still things that need to be healed beyond the relationship, for the collective or for uh, our lineage or whatever it is that we're to do.
Hmm.
And we've been able to manage that with each other. So he's helped me heal in a way, even with my ex-husband, and there's things that he's done for me in my life that I didn't experience with that person. And so it's like almost like he's been able to heal me from the past stuff through recent stuff with him. So I definitely know it goes very deep with that. And that's why, we've said twin flame. A lot of people don't like the titles and stuff like that, but that's just as I know it.
Titles and labels.
Right. Right.
I mean, if we didn't have titles or labels, then how would we communicate, where we're at and what's going on? And it doesn't cement it in.
Yeah.
That's
It's
kind of
just
the way that's my perspective.
hmm
It's just
everybody has their own, yeah, everybody has their
yeah.
own way and their own perspective of how
Well,
they look at
I
things.
mean, I remember I went through a stage where I was like, you know, I don't want to be called a witch. I don't want to be called a psychic or a medium or a shaman or anything of that nature,
Yeah.
right? Like, um, I just was like, I am me. I am who I am.
Same. I mean, and we're multidimensional. We might be this person one day, and then we might be like, for me, I have this side of me of medicine woman,
Yeah.
and shaman kind of things and all my gifts. But then I also have that fun inner child too that comes out with the fairies and the mermaid stuff and things like that. So I don't put myself in a box. Like, you can be all things. You don't, there's no,
Right.
certain thing that you have to label yourself as, you know.
Yeah, but because when I first had my big like jolt of what you would consider awakening, I did go through like every 6 months. It was like I had something else added on. Like I was doing spiritual warfare, and then I had the healing part come in and click onto that, and then the psychic readings, and mediumship, and then the cosmic energy came in and clicked, and then it all just kind of went whoop and congealed together.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how do I explain myself? And so they gave me the word soothsayer. And so I opened a business called the Soothsayer's Journey.
Oh, wow.
And so I was always known as Hera the Soothsayer forever.
I've never heard of that term.
It's an all-encompassing term. You should look it up. It's pretty
Oh, cool.
interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
I will.
but
That's
that's what most people know me. They know me by as Herodione, the Soothsayer's Journey. But I was like, yeah, but universe, like,
I'm
that still puts me in a melting pot of, you know, there's so many titles in there,
yeah.
right? And so I see you're resonating with this. It's like there's so many there's so many titles and labels and stuff that's in that melting pot that we kind of gotta go, okay, you go over there for a minute, you go over there for a minute, you go over here for a minute, you go over here for a minute, and let me pick you up one by one and go, do I like that flavor? Okay, nope. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
kind of
Exactly.
like how it feels going through all that stuff so rapid. Sounds like you went through it
I
extremely
d-
rapid too.
yeah, and that I can contribute to, being in community. It really accelerated my, transmutation of the energy and stuff. So that's why I feel like it's extremely important for people to realize in our healing, to to mainly we need to tap in within ourselves because all the information and everything that we need is within. So
Hmm.
it's to make that connection to the divine and whatever your belief system is, it's
Yeah.
all we're all oneness. It's all connected, but it's your personal journey. So that's why I like to use this term spirit team because it's all encompassing angels, past loved ones, ancestors, God, universe to include everyone in that,
There can be more than one truth.
right? Exactly. But would like to empower people to go within,
Hmm.
to get their, guides and their information from within. But it does, take some of us to ignite people too,
Yeah.
to get on that journey, and I think that's what some of us are here to do is just to ignite that little light, put that little light bulb in there and plant that seed and let them take it from there, and
Yeah.
light the way for them, be that lighthouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've all been there in the dark, and
I think that's why we trigger each other so much to, people call it triggering, but I think it's that little inkling of, hey, maybe look at this for a minute.
mm-hmm.
Um, use some awareness and discernment. And
Trigger.
but that sparks.
Mm-hmm.
It ignites, it sparks.
That triggering, some people don't realize it though, but it is actually kind of a gift for that because when I've talked to people about it, I'm like, that for me, when I get triggered, I go within. Okay,
Mm,
I need to find out what's unhealed within me that made me get triggered in that situation. I don't play game on the other person. I may say, I need a minute, let me process this because I'm triggered by it. Let me work through this and find out where in me that there's something going on.
hmm.
And even being the light and stuff like that, I've had that mentioned to me before, that can be triggering because it can be too much for people too,
Yes.
being too much of a light. But we are supposed to, you know, it does trigger people and gives them that gift to go within to figure that out as to, why did that trigger me?
I remember being in a group, and it was when I first learned of the I am.
Mm,
And I made a comment to in a thread to a girl, and she came right back to me and she says, "You go back and stand in front of the mirror and say that to yourself, and I'll be standing there with you holding your hand."
mm,
And that flipped everything. That was such a catalyst for me. I went, "Say what?"
uh-huh.
I was like, hold on a second, because I'm also a Gemini. I'm a very reaction, logical, the that intuitive side's always there, moving and grooving. But I've always
Yes.
been, no, show me and I'll believe it.
Right.
That right there, that part when she said, go look in the mirror
And
and
say
know
that.
I'll be standing there with you holding your hand, read to yourself what you just wrote to me. And I was like, oh, damn, what kind of poo poo did I just step into?
I had a similar situation with the twin flame with some stuff like that too, and I flipped it around to him and said, "Put yourself on the other side of that."
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes
I've,
you realize things when you're put yourself in that person's shoes, or we look at each other as the mirror.
yes, there's that. Yeah, I have I guess, a different perspective about the whole mirror thing that's going on in spirituality. But I do believe that there's a transparency there
Mhm.
that that can be reflected.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I'm open to hearing and understanding from your perspective too. It's up to you if you want to talk about that because that may help me in my journey too, to have an understanding from a different perspective.
well, um, I didn't plan on that coming up, but I guess there's no coincidences, are there? Um, I don't believe I like I have that understanding that when I look at you, I know that we come from the same source, that we are the same, that we are made of the same material,
Yeah.
right? And I'll just say material just for the sake of putting it into context. But that we all, come from the same place and that, we're here and in a lack of words that I wouldn't know how to put it in right now, we're all walking each other home in a sense and walking
Yes.
through these times that we're walking through. But I don't look at like I wouldn't look at you and reflect off of you like a mirror. Like I
Mhm.
don't see you as an aspect of me that I need to take on um what you're reflecting. Does that how do I put this? So I have that understanding an understanding of oneness
Mhm.
and of we are creation, we are co-creators, we are creators. Everything is within us,
Yeah.
projected outward. But I truly believe that we also have our sovereignty and that looking at you as a mirror, and I'm just going to use you as an example because you're in front of me,
Yeah.
takes my individualization away, takes my authenticity away of being uniquely who I am
Right.
in that fragmented state of of amnesia of being source energy. Does
Mhm.
that does
Yeah.
that anywhere?
Yeah, and I'll give you a little perspective on mine too when I'm with people and I'm out and about and someone sees something in me and they compliment me, I go back and say what's in me is in you. It gives them that reflection of something that they see some good in me or whatever it is that they're seeing in me, but I reflect it back on them so that they can see that they are that person too. They can be that person. They can be whatever it is that they're seeing in me or they already are. And I've experienced it where I'm just like you are. I see that in you myself, but they may
Mhm.
not see it. They just see it in you and they
Okay,
don't know it's reflective in them.
right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's kind of how when I say mirror for me that
Yeah,
I
but
see things.
I look at it more as like I'm looking into my own eyes,
Mhm.
as a reflection of myself, but not as like it's a new thing for me, and I don't know how to put it kind of in the context that it's rumbling around in here
Yeah, yeah.
as, you know. Um,
I get what you're saying though too about not being exactly the same because that would take away our authenticity.
yeah,
We're
it's
very
like it's
individual
like
and
you
there's
never judge someone because you don't know the path that they've walked.
yeah.
And so why would I mirror something that was not my path to walk, but
Mhm.
maybe to interact with and to co-collaborate or co-create a space where we come together and then there is that transaction of maybe what maybe more be considered mirroring of you know having a raw conversation and and speaking about like what when you got a compliment or you said to the person, I see that in you, that I'm in you as well.
Yeah.
That co-collaboration part of it. Did that make any sense at all? I still have somebody yanking at my radio.
I was gonna say you
This
were
usually
sitting good
doesn't
for a
happen during
minute.
the podcast. I'm like, this usually doesn't happen during the podcast. I'm like, I'm just observing here. I'm not the so um
Maybe we should ask to see if they want to say something.
mm,
Honor them, you know.
no, we're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thought we would give that opportunity, you know.
I believe it's frequency of Raphael. I've been working with her um recently, doing some healing and with that frequency.
Okay.
So it might be it might be something that's just happening within me.
On your journey. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure, because I do have that, like to honor the spiritual realm. They do
Yeah.
like when you honor them and listen, and you know that.
Absolutely. And if you've got something to say, please say it. You are more than welcome to speak through Miss Stephanie. Um, I, you know, um, always honored. You know, I set my shadow next to me, and I'm like, all right, let's go. What's up?
Right.
Let's talk about this. Instead of shying away from it. Now, sometimes I'll go, oh my God, leave me alone.
Right.
I don't want to talk right now, and I don't want to write down any information, and I don't want to do any voice messages or anything like that. I'm like, when I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping.
I'm
I
the
get,
same way, and I get that 3 to 5 wake up when they want to be active, and I'm like, I need to go back to sleep.
yeah, yeah. It's like mind rest, body, you're safe. You back away. I'm like, hold on a second. Let's do this when I can really internal, not well, when I can really get a grasp on it. I don't, I deserve to sleep in peace.
Yeah, I was told that by one of my psychic friends was to create the boundaries with the spiritual realm and let them know
Yeah.
your business hours.
My business hours. It's like I got that sign on my back that says do not disturb.
Right.
Doesn't seem to be working lately.
Sometimes
So
it doesn't. I'm with you on that sometimes.
yeah, that too.
Yep. I know. When you mentioned the spiritual warfare and all of that stuff, I have been through those battles too. So this year's been really shedding a lot. So much.
What do you think of the concept that is kind of going around um, that what we did last year is what we're going through this year? What we created last year is actually what we're experiencing this year.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
how it's
last
moving.
year was the year of the dragon, so this year's the shedding of all of that probably, and I feel like that's um shedding a lot of the conditioning. I think that as we're moving into the 5D more so, we have more awakened souls, so it's shaking us up and the collective up, to shed these stories that we've been told and have believed for so long, and belief systems and all of that stuff. That's a lot of the problem that we're having right now, to even get into conversations, is we can't get past belief systems,
Yeah.
the political stances and the religious stances. We need to go a little above that, so that we can look at the bigger picture of humanity and the mission that we all need to come together in community. But it's finding that, going above that argument of belief systems.
Yeah. So like are you because I kind of had like I kind of got bent there for a while on religion. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, how could you believe in a God that would, da 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 da, and really mad, you know? And then I
Mm-hmm.
sat back and I thought about it and I was like, you know what? If it's enriching their lives and bringing them, oh, it's tugging on me, bringing them joy and making them happy and it's working for them,
Mm-hmm.
who are you to judge that?
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like whatever brings you that joy, that harmony, whether it be, people they bash deities and working with, archetypal energies and that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but if it works for me
Mm-hmm.
and it's enriching my experience here,
Right.
then, why do we keep doing that to each other? Because that's what wars are made of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we could get past that right there, just that little step of
Mm-hmm.
going, you know what? Believe what you want to believe because your truth can be your truth. I can believe in what I believe in, and that can be my truth, and they can coexist at the same time.
Absolutely. I believe in that too.
And that right there clicks that bridge gap, right? I mean, just,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been finding more and more of that. It's like, oh, tell me about your tradition. Tell me about your culture. Tell me about your religion, right?
Same. I keep myself open to learning because that's how you learn more knowledge on this on people's stories and stuff like that just by tuning in and just listening and
Yeah,
not tuning out even though if it's not even if it's not something you believe in doesn't mean that you can't learn from the experience and we can still come together and
yeah.
have peace and harmony. I think it's accepting each other unconditionally. We're and doing that, we're putting conditions on people, you
Well,
know.
me- I believe that, like, here being in the physical,
Mhm.
there has to be conditions on us. There has to be conditions for us to be in the physical realm, in physical reality. We just can't. I mean, I like this is my perspective is that we see, or the all seeing infinite mind of creation, whatever you want to call that, is going to love you and is unconditional love. It will allow you to be that bright shining star and move and do and manifest and gain momentum and everything that's in your vortex swimming around in there no matter what it is. But you've also got to remember that it loves you so unconditionally that it will also allow you to suffer until
Right.
you diminish as well. And that's what I kind of get tripped up on sometimes when people talk about unconditional love. I'm like, make sure you throw some unconditional temperance in there, um,
Hmm.
and remember that you are walking an earth in a physical body, and you can't be in a physical body without the condition of having the physical body.
Right.
But
Yeah,
you can
that's true.
bridge those polarities, together.
Hmm.
So that was a big one for me.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? What does that say to you? I'm genuinely interested because I'm watching your face. I'm like I see the wheels.
Yeah, I'm just coming back online with my, gifts and thinking about things and the wheels spinning. I'm kind of like you with a little bit, with how to put it into words, I guess you would say.
Yeah, right?
But meaning for me, I guess on my particular journey is just um, coming to people with accepting them unconditionally, whatever their belief, no matter what their belief system is, and
Gotcha.
still coming, yeah, and still
Okay.
coming together, still coming to talk to them. I'm not shutting them out because they don't have my belief system. Then I'm putting that condition on them.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, that was one of the things that when I was working with the cosmic energy and I could feel that unconditional love. And
Hmm.
it was terrifying. It was mind numbing.
Hmm.
And I was like, just put me back in my body, please.
Yeah.
Like, and then they put me back in my body and I started walking around with both feet on the ground. And I'm like, oh, heck no. Hold on a minute. How do I get like, okay, cockeyed me or something like stick, like, one foot in, one foot out, align, ignite.
Yeah.
Um, because now I feel too like the heaviness, the
The density,
thickness, the
density.
density of it. And I'm like, what kind
How
of
do I,
mud is this? I'm like
how do
thinking,
how do you balance that, right? The duality of uh the physical and the spiritual. I had a good system with that. Like I said,
left
until when I figured out how to manage both, and being able to go out there and be that bridge.
uh-huh.
So I would spend, a little bit of time in the denser things of life and going out and enjoying people because I love people and
Mhm.
I can go out there and I can get along with them, like I said, with having that gift of unconditionally loving people and accepting them right where they're at. Um, but then after I have those experiences, then, I go back into community, I'll do the high vibrational community and the ceremonies and the different things and do my energetic cleansings and things like that, which help keep the balance, with the dense energy. So that's how I was able to keep that balance. Now I'm like, I feel like I'm a newborn after all the letting go. I
Yeah.
went through a period of time of like I felt my past version, like it was like passing away. Like I felt like I got hit by a truck and I was just having trouble getting out of bed and functioning and doing all my normal stuff. And I'm like, oh boy, this
Yeah.
is heavy, heavy one, this last leg of shedding from this year. And boy, does it feel good to be coming back online now.
I'm
I'm in the
I'm
middle. I'm still kind of in the middle, but
yeah, I'm still they keep reminding me. But
mhm,
I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I've got boundaries here in the physical world and they're being crossed.
yeah,
And so, yes, you're acknowledged, but hang on a second.
right.
You
Well, and
know,
I think for me doing that
and I mean
fire.
spiritually, like energetically, like
Mhm,
maybe it's other people's thought forms, and I'm one that will sit there with other people's thought forms.
mhm,
Yes, I'll let them pass around me and projections or whatever, because I know how to alchemize it. I know how
yeah,
to transmute it. I know how to let it go and let it roll around me like wind,
mhm,
right?
yeah,
But it's like this is a whole different, like, I'm like dead asleep and it's like, hey, yo, wake up. I'm like, no. And I mean, like, my whole nervous system will start to like tremble and heart race and that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, all right, I've like been checked out physically. I know
mhm,
I'm mentally good. And I'm thinking, this has never happened like this before
mhm.
to this extreme. And I'm like, is there an aspect of me bullying myself?
Yeah, right.
Right. And I'm like, back the effing off because it's in the middle of the night and I'm human and I got to be able to function.
Mhm.
So you got to let me sleep.
Yep.
There's no like, no.
That I felt a lot of that, and like I said, this week I did the fire ceremony on Monday for Indigenous Peoples Day, and we were honored to have um, someone that was Peruvian come in and do the fire ceremony. and it was really powerful.
Did that help with some of that you were
Yes, it helped burn away a lot of stuff. We did the
Ugh,
hape, um, which I've done before a while back, but I haven't had anybody blow it in for me, so I was a little nervous to do that.
okay. Yeah.
But it was light. I told him, and so he did it lightly, and I felt my head clearing, and I felt a little dizzy and nauseous. And even right before he said it, I was like, "Is this supposed to make you dizzy?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Just focus on the fire." And I was like, I had just got that download. I was like, "Look at the fire." So that's what I did. I just kind of focused in on the fire, and I heard them say, "Burn it all away."
Burn it down.
Yeah. So
Burn.
that was pretty powerful, this last one. That was just on Monday, and now I'm starting to finally feel my energy peaking back up now. So sometimes we have to do that. We have to burn away that old version of ourselves.
Yeah, I was letting go of some stuff.
Huh?
I was letting go of some stuff. And the
Yeah.
heat, I'm like, you don't have to burn me alive to get my promise. I'm like, come on, we've been doing this for a while now. I'm like, you don't need
Yeah, which I thought I had already done that too, because I wrote a eulogy to
that.
myself back in February. I came across something, and the girl was did an activation with that, and so I've done that before, but then still layers of her comes back. And that lady that I met just the other day, she told me, like when you feel those things coming in, she was like, tell them they're gone. You've burned that. Just do that reminder of you're not that person anymore, and you shut that door. So it's gotten easier. It's not as overpowering as it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Getting lighter and lighter.
that's why I brought back in, I brought well, I invited Raphael, the frequency of the arc to
Hmm.
come to help me with this. Because I was like, okay, because normally I'm not one that would disrespect spirit.
Yeah.
I give spirit it's honor. Like I'm more connected with spirit than I am humans. Like I would love to have a community, but it's for some reason I'm on a solo thing here, and I keep going, look, no, I need people. Like I need community now, and that's when I started doing the podcast, because I was like, I can't do this by myself. I don't
Absolutely.
want to do this alone. I mean, in the physical as well, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
you get,
you only want so much time in your little chrysalis, in that hermit mode for a little while, but then after a little while, it's just like, okay, I need to get out there and get with people, and then that's where you're tested after you do your own like healing work and stuff like that. Then you get tested when you come out of that little chrysalis and come back into community and come back in with people. That was the same for me. I hadn't had it for a couple of months when I was on that trip and everything, and then coming back in. So I think that was a lot of adjustment too, and coming back into the high vibrational, you know, community.
I think after you go through stuff like that too, patience and being kind to yourself is important. And that's not something that I've been accustomed to is patience. I'm
Mhm.
like, look, I've gone 10,000 years in the future. I know instantaneous healing, right?
Mhm.
I know exactly how to do it, and it is what it is. And they go, watch this. And I'm like, seriously? And I'll argue with them. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. Why would you show me how to do this and to know that this is possible? Absolutely, like without a shadow of a doubt. It's
Mhm.
absolutely possible. And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then like take it away.
Yeah, I felt that too. I was like, I was on such a inner knowing and surrender and flow and everything.
Like just like why would that you would think that like the time or the and I know time's not linear and all that, but we'll just for the sake of being humans right now and the magical creators that we are, you know, you're taken into places like that and you're taught how to do this stuff and you remember,
Mhm.
you remember that you've always been able to do it. You're just now the blinds are kind of creeping up and you're able to see a little bit more, right?
Yep.
Um, why would they do that? Why would like that's like one of my questions is like why would you channel all this information that's now just now this year that I've been channeling since 2020 is coming out and coming to light.
Mhm.
It's like, but all the big channelers are bringing it in. And I'm thinking, man, I've been channeling that since 2019, 2020.
Mhm.
And it's like, why would you take me so far and then just like bring me back and drop me into like a black hole?
Right. That is true. That makes my wheels turn.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, did I get too cocky? Well, is that really wrong? If I got, because I would think that if you have confidence in yourself and you know without a doubt
Mhm.
that you know yourself
Right.
to have a certain way of doing something that works and it helps,
Yeah.
then would why strip that and like pull the blinds back down?
Maybe
The
there's
fear.
some letting go of something and then bringing some other new gifts in too. I don't know. That's usually what happens with me and letting go. I go into that black hole and void and lose the gifts go. With the same thing happened to me at Mount Shasta. I let go and I would strip down with all of that stuff. And then it
It's
took me 3 months to come back online.
yeah, well, this is this has been over a year now. Or
Oh,
no, more than a year now. It's been a year and well, we're in October, so a year and 10 months.
did you, um, when you got that information, did you share it?
Hmm.
You did, okay. Because I was going to say sometimes if we're supposed to be a messenger and we don't do that, they may give that to someone else because we didn't deliver the messages that we should have.
Oh,
And
well, okay. So I really did not like getting on video.
mm,
So I would type it out and put it in posts. And they're
mm,
like, no, you need to be. And
your
so that,
voice.
yeah, they're like, you need to like be seen. You need to be heard. Like this needs to be in your vibration and your vocal cords and you need to be speaking it. And I'm like, ain't gonna happen.
Like I'm not ready for that just yet.
I led a lot of groups that I had a fire pit in my backyard in North Carolina, and I did a lot of circles and led a lot of groups
Yeah.
and led a lot of groups and empowerment online in circles and stuff. Um, but if I've got to sit here and pass that message on video, that's what I'm working with. My cousin told me that she says this is what I see. She says I think that you're at that stage where when you hear like Daryl Anka and some of the other channelers, they had to go through this one last little stage.
Yeah.
I guess you would before like it really just started flowing and
Yeah.
coming out and there was less fear there for it to like the resistance dropped
Yeah.
because I
True. Being more in your heart space and the heart and mind coherence to help you channel and get that message out. I've kind of been the same. Um, and I feel like I'm at the
so
same
then you
place as you
understand
are.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like I'm at the same place as you are and putting myself out there. I've been having the calling for a while now, but it's like trying to figure out how I'm supposed to shine and how the world is
exactly.
supposed to, how I'm supposed to present myself to the world.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's like so they're like, okay, start a podcast and you'll figure it out.
hmm
I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
So,
and I have to say, Ancient Voices Rising, that to me, when you say that, is so powerful. Because it's for me doing the lineage work,
mm,
and we're here to heal that lineage, and we're here to, I don't want to get up, cry, but we are
mm,
here to deliver those messages from the ancestors, from their pain and suffering that they could not heal, that has been passed on to certain ones of us to break those generational cycles. And we are here to deliver those messages that they couldn't come, that they couldn't get out and they couldn't say, that held them back and those things. So yeah, thank you for doing this podcast with such a powerful title. I think
well,
you're gonna, yeah, it's gonna do well, and being able to put our voices out there for the ancient ones, that we carry that DNA and that wisdom that, huh?
we are the ancient ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're just waking up to that fact. To
We're
that,
our remembrance is coming back after peeling off the layers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, yeah, I started getting Isis coming in and Sakhamet and Thoth, and I started having that pantheon, you know, coming in, uh, and it was literally like me and you talking, how I can hear your voice and you can hear mine,
hmm
that clear.
Wow.
Like it wasn't me interpreting anything. I was
hmm
not interpreting. I was literally hearing it, like
Mm,
like full on.
that's beautiful.
So, and they're like ancient voice rising, and here you go. Where do I go? What do I do? Do you have a manuscript or something that I can use, a manual or something to do this? Because they're like, nope, you'll get it.
Yeah, when you were talking about how you were going to do your podcast, like authentically, no questions, just that's kind of how I've been guided too, like to start a YouTube and just
It's like this.
authentically go in. Yeah, go in and authentically just be yourself.
Yeah, because I truly feel like these types of conversations, like we could have this same conversation on the telephone. The only difference is now is we've got video and we can record it, and other beings can listen to it and
Mhm.
cherry pick what they resonate with and what they don't resonate with.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, it will lend something to what they're going through, you
Yeah.
know, because I provide such a array of diversity
hmm
within who's coming on.
Absolutely.
Um, and I'm really looking forward to Dustin coming on.
Yes. It's gonna be awesome.
Woo! That's gonna
Yeah,
be fun.
that's gonna be fun for
I'm
sure. I
so
spent some time with them a couple months ago, so.
Oh man, I love them. I give him a hard time. I've given him a hard time for the past couple of years. But
Him and I work very similarly to our spiritual journey, so we're able to really connect on that when we have some talks and stuff. So,
yeah, but yeah, he gives it back. It's awesome. I love it.
oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. It's funny. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm so
That's good. Like I
excited.
said, I'm glad you're having the guys come on there too.
I have
We
been, if you any men out there, you want to come on, you got a story to tell, you want to sit down and have and do this,
yeah,
please, because what I'm observing out here is the masculine's being demasculated
yeah,
and the feminine can rise, but know that the masculine is holding the feminine.
Yes.
There's not a pit between the two.
Mhm.
You know,
There's a delicate dance with the two. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can come into full union
Hmm.
with there doesn't have to be a gender fight
Hmm.
um here. And I was, yeah, so any men that would like to come on, man, I welcome you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, they need that safe space that they
Heck
can,
yes.
yes, because they have a lifetime of pain that they've been taught to internalize. So they're carrying a lot of weight that we don't even realize that they have. And I've given that acknowledgement in the spiritual community. And I just see the little light bulbs go off when I say, I see, hear, and honor you. And thank you. Thank you,
Hmm.
thank you, thank you for doing the work.
Thank
Not just for yourself, but it's the collective of the masculine that you're doing this for. You're healing a masked wound, from all the masculine. So I give them, and honor them and see them on
well,
that journey. And we need more brother circles too for them to feel safe and the healthy masculine to be able to let these things out.
oh yes, I couldn't say that better myself. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I see some of the things that I, did in my marriage that, I was like, wow, like, he's just been taught how to do this.
Hmm.
And it was done out of love and compassion and everything. But I totally just like said, I'm not scared of you. And I had no reason to be, but it was just, that protective feminine in me going, I've been so traumatized that now I'm gonna stand up and roar in your face and go, hey, you know,
Yes.
and I see that happening so much now, and it's like, hold on a second, take a breath. Let's regather here and
Yeah,
listen to these, to everyone's stories. It doesn't matter whether you're female or male. Um, every story matters.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And
And
I think
it's,
during these times, men need to be heard
yes, they do.
as much as females, maybe even more.
I believe I was just about to say that I've told people that I feel like it even more. They need the healing and they need, you know, to be heard and accepted with the things that the weights that they carry. They
Exactly.
juggle like having to make themselves happy, their person happy, being fathers, being providers, all the social pressures and being that tough, don't cry kind of thing. I witnessed a ceremony,
Mm.
Cambo ceremony, and that there were three masculine there and one feminine, and this one guy just let out a cry that just felt like for the whole collective of the masculine. It just went right through me, and I was just like, wow, the pain. And I've had few of the guys in the spiritual community that said, this is odd for me to feel my feelings for the first time. So
Yeah.
we got to give that grace too for them, and holding that space a little bit for them to come out and be able to share that deeper, of what they're feeling. That's the problem with mine too, is my ex is he was very internalized,
Yeah,
and keeping
mine,
things and
mine
keeping in.
admits he's like, I'm just not an emotional person, and
Yeah.
that's just the way I am. And I'm like, man, if you could see what I could see,
Yeah.
you are actually an emotional being.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if you just suppressed it. And those memories are in there. Yeah, they're in there.
Yeah, they are
Deep down in there somewhere.
somewhere. Maybe we'll find them.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, anyway. Well, Stephanie, is there anything else that you would like to speak on at this time?
Um, I'm trying to think. I think we covered
We
a lot of stuff.
we did, and you can come back on. We'll reschedule you and see where you're at in a month and see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. it's been such a magical journey, that I've been guided to, you know, even though my life fell apart, with the divorce and everything, I have found myself, my center, who I am, um, and just been blessed with so much love, unconditional love and community around me,
That's
and found
awesome.
my tribe.
That's so
And there's so
amazing.
many different ones of them, but I find something
Yeah,
with each one that I connect with. And yeah, I mean, it's been great. Are we able to give any plugs to community here in our area or?
absolutely. Plug away. Heck
All
yeah.
right. Yes, because I'd really like to give a shout out if you're ever in Tampa. Sacred Space Tampa is amazing. That's
Okay.
where I've been the last couple of years, and I feel like I found my soul family there, and that's where I've found a lot of my missing pieces. I was definitely guided from a concert there. I went to a couple of years ago and had some activations there, and there was a local band that played before this band called Yaima, called Air and Soul, and they were playing at Sacred Space 2 weeks later, and that's how I got guided to Sacred Space. And their address is a spiritual number for my grandmother.
So is it a place for people to go heal? Like is it like a shop?
Yeah. It's at their home, but they have a tiki hut where they serve kava and kratom and teas and
Oh,
different things, and they have a sacred fire, cold
so
plunge, a stage.
if you will message me their link,
Okay.
do they have a
They're on Facebook, Sacred Space Tampa.
okay,
On
we'll just go and share their page with me on
Okay,
message and I'll put it in the description tomorrow when this goes out.
awesome, awesome. Yeah,
And
anything I
plug
can
it.
do to help out the community, that's been
Absolutely.
there for me, and yeah, it's been such a blessing to have them, in my healing journey for sure. And then the travel group, that's how I met Dustin and Christine right
Yeah.
after my divorce. That came through a synchronistic way too.
Yeah.
I got in traveling with them and went to Sedona and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's just, life is magical. It just depends on your perspective, and tapping in and your energy, and that's what you attract,
Yep.
on your journey. And now I've gotten to a point where now I can trust myself and knowing my own energy, that I can relax into that surrender, and knowing that the people and places and things are divinely placed there for me, and trusting. It's not easy getting to surrender.
Mm. No, it's
I had to
not.
go through that again, because I had it before and then lost it, and then now I'm rebuilding up again. But I'm back into that flow.
Well, it's
Uh,
a forever. It is an infinite process. It is an unfolding constantly.
for sure.
I'm ready
And
for
also, I have one other little thing.
sure.
I'm in this little Halloween book.
Oh my goodness.
As
So
Luna the Witch. This is the girl I take care of. I'm a private caregiver,
okay.
and she won Miss Wheelchair this year, 2025. And they
Oh,
put a series of children's books out. She had a traumatic accident that happened to her. That was serendipitous too, how I got in with his family through the Tony Robbins page when he did his first webinar, and that's how I met her mom.
oh
I got
wow.
placed with this family 3 months before my life fell apart.
Wow.
So they've been a huge family for me, and foundation that have helped me get through my journey too. So I can give you some links on that too.
That'd be
That
great. Yeah.
help them with
Yes.
the
And
children's series. They've turned it around, what happened to her, and turned it around into a positive for
absolutely.
children, and they're going to schools and reading books and stuff too. So
Yes, please send the links and I'll put them in the description below for everyone to check it out.
awesome.
Yeah.
There's
So
so many people I want to thank, and you know who you are in my life, and I'm just forever grateful for everyone who contributed to my journey. I couldn't have done it without connection and people, and that's why I want to get my story out there, and I think of books in my future too. I know there's a book in my future. I just got to sit down and channel it through, and get that out there too, to show people when you get on this path, and how you can connect, and how connecting leads you to the path of those things in your life.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
And
Thank you
trust
so much for having me.
trust that. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. And I look forward to having you on again because I know like we have just barely, scratched the surface.
Right. And then we'll be more fully online too, probably in the next month or so too. Things will be coming back through a little bit more balanced too.
Oh boy, I tell you, it's interesting doing it during this. I'm like, really? Like this year you want me to start this? I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yep. I'm like,
Right.
oh,
A couple weeks ago, I could not have done this. That's why I said this was such divine timing because I did get offered to speak at the Peace Festival, and for some reason it didn't work out. But I feel like I know why because I was just such in that zone
yeah.
that I don't know if it would have come through as well, you know. So I had to get
Well,
through that first.
you did amazing here, and thank you for answering some of my questions. And
You're welcome.
um, I look forward to having you on again so we can catch up even more and find out what's
What's new
going.
and what's going
Yeah,
on? Yeah, for
yep,
sure.
because everything's changing.
Absolutely.
Um, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. I'm honored to have been here. Thank you for giving me that voice and being my authentic self and making it comforting to come on and just have that conversation. It just flowed. So yeah,
Oh,
it was
makes my heart
awesome.
so happy.
Yay!
Oh, that makes my heart
I
so
know there's more to come for us. We had some
very good.
synchronicity, so I know
We
that
do.
there's something in there for us on the path.
We, we do. All right, my sister. I love you.
All right, I love you too.
Rest well, and I will speak to you again soon. And don't
All
forget
right.
to send those links. And if
Okay,
anybody
yes.
has any subjects that they would like to talk about with or for me to bring up with some of the guests, please put them down in the comments so I know that this is what you would like to ask about or hear about. And then I can get some of the ladies on and some of the gentlemen on, and we can answer and go through some of the questions and
Yeah.
see how that works.
Awesome. Yeah, there's some tips and information that somebody's going to gather from each one of us telling our stories and
We just
going
got to
through our processes.
we just got to keep our voices rising.
Yes, we do.
All
Yes.
right.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye-bye.